Okay, motherfuckers, I am back on my bullshit again. Radiator has a hole in it, is leaking. I don't know if we can see it, but it's down fucking here, in there somewhere. It's coming straight out of the core. This radiator was second hand when fitted to the vehicle. Commodore V8 one, like out of a VN, VR, VS, whatever thing. So I'm just going to buy a new one because it's probably beyond due. Step one, of course, is to get all of the shit in here undone and drain the fluid out. For that, is this little bad boy, check that out. So that's me screwdriver with the 1/4 inch drive attached to the end of it, but put this on it, use that like an extension and just take it. It's good. Is there any water at all in there? Oh, oh. There we go. While that is draining, we'll remove the top hose. This one's a bit of a pain in the ass because, you know, I can't do anything easily. So it's got to have a couple of different fucking ends on it. What I should do, would be smart, replace all of the hose clamps with the same one so that all the ends on them are the same size, but what would I want to do that for? I also want to put in here, I've got a plug. I want to put my new temperature sender in there. I've got a mechanical temp sender that I want to run. I need to make a new hole in the firewall, I think, for it as well. I don't think I can sneak it out. Oh, maybe I can. Maybe just sort of under into the right of the heater hose. If we can sneak it out there, then that'll do. Just out of the way, and I can run under the heater hose all the way up to the front here. And I'll make it black so that it doesn't look like shit. And this one is a different size again because reasons. Way it'll work from now on, I will not put a massive fucking ding in this thing again. It means I can repaint it. I've got a lot of work to do to the engine bay here before I really want to show it again. Neaten up all the wiring and whatnot, hiding it with the inner guard that I want to build. And just make things a lot better. There we go now. That one monstrosity, there we go. That one, look at that, the bottom hose. Go up on the shelf. Oh. Top hose. Okay, after much fucking around, I can fit a 12-inch fan behind here, as long as I don't bring it up too high, because I still need to access that bolt there to be able to adjust my fan belt. So if I can't fit, or if I don't think the 12 is going to do the job, I think I've got a 10, but obviously the more fan I can get on this, the better. I mean, really, the fan on the front's doing the it's only just not doing the job, so anything on the back should do me a great deal. But if I can just get this sort of 10 mil away from the face, and then with a shroud maybe up to here, just to cover more area and make the shroud square so it gets right down the bottom of the radiator and across the corner and everything, you can actually get a fair bit of that back surface to pull air from, and then I don't know, I'll fucking make something out of some sheet and see where it ends up. Alright. Alright, so I've been having to think about this. A little fan here before was screwed directly to the bottom here, and I put it down that low to get myself a bit more clearance up here that I didn't really need. Notice down the bottom there's this gap. Now with a pusher, anywhere where air can escape that's not where you want it to go is a big bloody problem and actually reduces efficiency quite a bit. So I'm gonna make sure it sits up here, make the clearance I need at the top. Just goes to show that I can fuck up anything I put my mind to. Okay, I've done a little thing. Just got some square bar that I had floating around. I'll need to clean this up and weld it up frame, but this is the basics here. So I've just made a little bend in it, dodges around the fan. And the good thing is this stuff's chunky enough that I can actually drill it and tap it for like M6, and that'll do. That'll hold them in. The frame sits away from the frame sits kind of this direction. I've reversed these tabs, and I'll bolt on underneath these. They will stay pretty solid, and once the fan's in place, the radiator will actually should push slightly against it. So I'm going to need to be pretty tight with my tolerances on where I mount the bottom of this down to the front end of the car. So yeah, I'll have to suss that out, but I think that'll do just nicely. I'm going to cut another piece and bend up another one of these to match for the other side, and then if I sort of cut a top and a bottom just to keep it in place, the top will need to be close to this because otherwise it's going to poke up above the radiator. I actually want to put like a cover or something on it. I might not even actually put a brace on the top. I might just put one at the bottom or two at the bottom, maybe a couple little angles just to keep it square, and then the top can just pin straight back this way into the radiator support. With some, again, I'll just put in some captives, make it look nice. Anyway, I'm going to continue on my merry way and see what I come up with at the end of this. So remember how earlier I said if I think about something enough I can properly fuck it up? So I've spent, a good 15 making this nice bend to go around the edge of this thing. This fan has tabs in different spots, so if I switch the tabs to the other side, now a straight piece just lines up and misses everything. I don't need to bend it at all, which is what I'm going to do. I might keep my nice curved bit and I'll weld it as the piece along the bottom, just because I bothered to do it. So I'll put it somewhere that no one will see it, and that'll be awesome. Sweet. A little frame welded up. It's not going to need any bracing. It's very stiff. These are just cool little thingos that we bought for another car that I didn't use, so I'll just use them here. This whole thing I'll just get a coat of black after I've bolted the fan on, just so you don't see these through the grill. Yeah, so I think that's going to be okay. I'm going to take the frame out with the fan on it and test fit it in the car and just see if it'll sit. Alright, so at the moment I taped the fan, just the fan frame in there, just taped it in and set the radiator in, and that's where it got to. So the fan is sitting way too high. But also, okay, I have marked the corners. So I'm going to drill a hole down there. I'm probably going to use an M6 on the bottom of the frame, and I'll drill like a 19mm hole with a big flat washer. So what I can do is adjust forward and backwards, side to side, and get it nice and set so that the fan sits nice and solid against the front of the radiator without putting pressure on it. I've got this nice little bit here which I prepared earlier, so I'll use that for a top tab for the fan frame. then it can sit there and then everything's cool. The other side, I mean, I could do something, but I don't think I really need one anyway. I've got I want to bolt a shroud on the top of this that just covers the top of the radiator so it's not as ugly. It's one of the things I want to do to improve the engine bay look. And then the 265 Hemi badge can go on there so that people can see badge thing, and then this inner guard that I make to cover all this wiring mess will be look like just an inner guard but sort of spaced up a little. That'll be, I think, pretty trick. Many hours, much back and forth. This is what we've got. Paint it black. Righto, here we go. Got some foam, just padding just on the front here. Slot it into place. Fuck it. Get it alright. Okay. Oh, get fucked. Oh, okay. It's in. Alright, here we go. First attempt at sliding the radiator in place. Yeah. Just bear in mind I don't have the rear fan sorted yet. This is just the first iteration. I'm going to have to make the fan at the back sort of slot in and out. I can always lose this bloody rubber on that side for some reason. Oh fuck yeah. Fuck, that's perfect. So in here, you can see the fan sort of sitting nicely on the thing, doing its thing. This is, I've just done this one up just to see if the mount is good. You can see I've got like a little bit of clearance here and here, so there'll be no rattles, which is great. This is all bolted in as it should be. This one, I'm just going to need to either remake this bracket here or just put a little spacer in between it, and probably it'll be option B because I can't be fucked remaking it. I've remade it a couple of times now. Pretty happy with it. Main bit is I can take the radiator out without removing the thermostat housing, which is massive. Alright, now all that's left to do is everything else. I've got to fit another radiator and a shroud behind here down there. Another fan, sorry, and a shroud. Great. Right, so doing some thinking on how I'm going to mount this. And I don't like hanging stuff off the radiator, but I think I'd be okay with it if it was connected top and bottom rails of the radiator. So if I make a shroud that hooks under the bottom of here, we'll pull it right up, and then, you know, a clip or a clamp or something just to hold it at the top, so it's supported top and bottom by the rails. Well, not really bottom, more top. And then the shroud also can pull from this whole section of radiator, with the exception of the very top strip, because I'd have to make the sheet sort of sit flat against the radiator for the most part of this bit, because that's where the top hose runs. Now this very top bit of the radiator does fuck all, because this car's supposed to have a header tank or an expansion chamber in the top, so mostly these two or three top rows of cooler are actually empty, full of steam or space that the radiator can expand and contract into. Actually, probably I should make it a proper expansion tank, come to think of it. Future Micker's problem. Okay, bit of a problem. I tried to get the 13-inch fan, I think I had, on here, and it just with the shroud holding the fan, that extra 10mm back from the face of the radiator, I just could not fit it. So I've gone down to my 12, I think it's 12, I can't remember, fucking 12 or 10 or something. And I actually had to move it down a fair bit down the shroud once it's all bolted in and everything, and it holds on the bottom rail. So you can see I've just got a little bit of overhang here, but the big problem is hole is different size. So I'm going to use some more of this here, make a new piece that'll cover this whole thing really nice, and give me a new hole for the fan, and it'll just make sure there's no air being able to draw in just from under this bit here. I really do need that to be very, very close tolerance, because the bottom of this almost sits on the front end of the car. It just needs that little bit of space. I'll probably grind off this here, just cut it off with a, and just give myself a bit extra space, which I might do. I also had to shift the fan across this way because one of the pulleys, it just doesn't have the clearance. Okay, here is my fresh new radiator. I don't like using non-standard parts for a car. I like to be able to buy normal shit and not pay for custom shit. So this is a normal one. They do have a 32mm core now, whereas the one I had is the original 26mm core. It's in. Haven't put the hoses on yet. There is like absolutely no fucking space behind here. There's nothing. I really hope that this does the job, otherwise I'm gonna, well, I mean, I could maybe just put a frame and put the fan against the face of the thing like I did with the front fan, but look, what's the fucking point? Like, this thing is awesome, but fuck's sake, man, if I ever decide to put a massive bloody engine in shit it shouldn't belong in again, can all he is just come and like kick me in the dick or something? I love driving it, but the ongoing saga, it's getting to me. Oh. Put the hoses on, I'll fill it with fluid and we'll go for a spin. Maybe disregard all the stuff I said about coming and kicking me in the dig. Fuck, this sounds good. Alright. Idling away happily. See, that's at like 170 now. I don't think this gauge is accurate, but it seems to be pretty close because the thermostat opens at 160. Car's sitting at 170 now, but now the fans actually pull the temperature back down, and they didn't used to pull it back down. I put in this little indicator light that just tells me when the fans are on. Problem I've got is I think my thermo switch is fucking up. It's like you can see it come on. I think it's 85 Celsius, which is around 180 something Fahrenheit. Comes on, I can see on the gauge that it's got up past 170. Everything goes back down, but the things never turn off. I think there's something wrong with the switch because it's supposed to come on and off. That's 85 is supposed to be its number. It comes on at 85, gets back down below 85, it'll turn off. And I mean, I can't be driving this thing around with the fans on the entire time. Like at this rate, if I get stuck in traffic before I get to the highway, they would be on the entire time I'm cooking down the highway, and I'm not happy with that. So I have to get a new thermatic switch, try that and see if something happens. But other than that, I mean, it's running good. It's bringing it back down to temperature. I've looked at it now. It's coming. It's not coming up at all. It's not a hot day today, but it's not a terrible day. The other thing is, they work. The greater the temperature difference, the more effectively it'll bring down the temperature. So if I'm running the car colder, which I am, sort of, you know, I got thermostat opening at 160 and that might be too cold. I might be better off with it at sort of 170 and then have the fans kick in at 190 or something like that, because then you got sort of a bit of area where you can go up, come up in temperature and go back down, and it won't switch the fans on because it doesn't need to yet. When I go to having an ECU, I'm actually going to, my intention is to run the fans, they'll switch off if you're above 50k an hour. So it doesn't matter what's happening, there's no point in them being on above 50k an hour, so they'll switch off. I've just been sitting here for the last 5 or so, chatting shit to the stupid phone and watching this thing, and it's not moving. It's brilliant. So it's probably even pulling the engine temp down to the point where it wants to start closing the actual thermostat, which is no bueno. The fan should have switched off. Oh well. Last bit to fix. Everything's in. It's not leaking. It's working. Good shit. That's it for this one. Peace out. I just noticed a thing. I'll still check the thermo switch, but fans on. They get up to speed. Turn them off. The fans are backfeeding the LED, so it stays on until the fans die. So it's possible humming down the highway, the air turning the fans is enough to run that LED. So I'll have to wire it differently. Alright, I'll figure it out.